Diana from Diana Drager Designs, doing some Mother's Day pieces for some special mothers. Some friends have asked me if I would create something for their mother and mother-in-law, so I'm absolutely happy to do that. And back in the day, you used to have to do like 200, so doing a few is just kind of fun. So I have a couple that I'm going to do that are very similar, and using a 11-inch tall classic urn vase. I've put the packet of preservative in. It holds about 2 quarts, so I've used the bigger package and measured according to the directions so that we get the optimum use out of that preservative. And these are going to be kind of wowness, so big and airy and just like luscious and wonderful. So here we go. Let's go for it. I'm starting out with some foliage. I've done the plant thing again. I've picked up all the flowers at Trader Joe's, but there was a little bit of a limited foliage selection. So I've done some plant trimming and going to do that. And it works out really great. They last long and it's all good. This is called Podocarpus. It's a dark green, kind of drapey foliage. There was lots of it, so it's going to do really well for us here. And it's just, it has all the things I like. It's drapey, it's full, it's got some neat color, neat green color. And I'm careful about saying always and never, but I always use more than one type of foliage. I've figured that out for sure. That's an always. Always and another always is putting the stems so that they cross like this, especially in a glass vase. So I guess there'd be some exceptions to that always, but depending on the design style. But for a vase, the stems are going to be always intersecting and crossing so that the flowers are held up. I'm adding another plant. This is called a Chinese evergreen or Aglaonema, and it's the Marie variety. The plant wasn't in great shape anymore, but there were a few pieces that looked great, still really nice. So they're going to be part of our design. I've cut the stems already. Okay, and I've actually cut this and trimmed it a little bit so that it's not quite so thick, because I need room for all my fabulous flowers that are going in here. So here's just some foliage. It looks like a plant in a vase, kind of. And next, a little bit of the Silverdollar Eucalyptus. I love the shade of green that it has and the airy quality. It's kind of a filler and a green at the same time. Always cutting the stems at an angle. And these I'm going to go putting around the kind of the perimeter, and I'll stick the taller one kind of down into the center as well. I just love it. Love it, love it. Doing a design with a lot of foliage gives you a lot of, gives you really a good amount of flexibility. I mean, you can make the arrangement really pretty with just the foliage and just add a few blooms. You can just pick up a little bit of something, whatever your favorites are, and keep the foliage going and just add in a few stems of something, and then when those fade, the arrangement still looks pretty. You still have all the foliage. So try that. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. It's kind of fun. Just always encouraging everyone, to enjoy flowers often. Keep it simple. Treat yourself, treat friends, others, relatives, and enjoy them often. You don't have to go crazy and spend a fortune, but just enjoy them simply and often. You know, flowers are a great gift for people who are in that stage in life where you don't really want more stuff, and you've got so much stuff around, and flowers just give us joy, and they're wonderful, but then they go away, and then you don't have stuff sitting around. So here we are, just foliage. A really nice mix of foliage. The next player are going to be the Oriental lilies. If there's no allergies, then Oriental lilies are going to be part of the design. They just are. And they're going to make a great statement in this piece because we want that wow factor. Now, these are called Siberia. They're a white Oriental. Let's take a lovely sweet scent. Oh my gosh, just gorgeous. I'm going to remove the anthers, these little guys. They come out really easy. And when the flower is just opening is the time to take those out. They will stain the flower, and then they get on your hands, and because when they develop they get fuzzy and they kind of rusty colored, and then they'll stain the flower. We don't want all that on this gorgeous white bloom. So this guy isn't open enough yet, although I may look down in there and try to get those out too. But this is going to be the first star of the show here. The Oriental lilies last crazy long. They're wonderful. Trader Joe's has the group of 3 stems for, I think it's like $6.99. It's an incredible value, and they're super great quality. So don't hesitate. I mean, just 3 stems of lilies and some cool foliage and you're good. It's stunning. Okay. Another beautiful stem. Has 2 lovely blooms, and everything opens. The buds will open. That's why they're so incredible. Okay, so look how cool this is with just the lilies and the foliage. It's already really, really pretty beautiful. I have 1 stem, because I bought a couple of packages and they come in 3s, so I have 1 stem of this double pink. So I'm going to use this one in here as well. And I think this bud on the side is so long and it's pretty close to the bottom. So I'm going to cut that guy off and see if I can use it down in the vase as well. So I think this will work best for the design. And you know what? The big one is actually broken, so I'm going to cut that guy off too. But use it. I'm going to use it towards the base of the design, and I'll use this bud stem taller. Put that up here. So we're going to use it all for sure. Really sweet, very soft scent on the pink. Very, very soft. Not too heavy at all, but lovely. So these buds I'm putting way at the base, and they'll open, and as the rest of everything develops, they'll get to do their show also, play their part. Okay, so here we have the lilies. The next lovely actress as part of the show are the peonies, and these are the Coral Charm Peonies. Beautiful, really beautiful. And I'm going to use those kind of down low. They will probably not last as long as the other flowers, so when they start to fade, they can be popped out, and they'll be fine. The rest of the design will be fine. They'll be missed, but everything else will be okay. I'm removing a little bit of the foliage, and sometimes when there's knobs sticking out from the foliage, I cut that off as well to keep the stem clean as I'm finding a spot for it. Turning it a little bit so I can come in a balance off of the other one. We've got the lilies and the peonies in. And next, let's see. I have some, we're gonna do the roses next. We'll do these guys. Okay. Got some really pretty lavender roses, and they're really picture perfect. They're really quite stunning. And Trader Joe's. I'm doing really a nice mix of, bright shades of pink and then the white, of course. And it's all going to just be yummy together. Going to kind of work in a triangular pattern that helps kind of give you a basis so you kind of know where to go with the next stem. Keep turning the piece, keep turning the design so that you keep things balanced. They don't have to be exact. I mean, every side of the arrangement isn't going to be the same as the other side, because flowers are individual and they don't all look the same. So it doesn't have to be that they look that it looks the same, just has to be kind of balanced. Okay, that stem isn't, it's stiff, so it's not bending how I want it to. Sometimes I want to bend them down and they can't. They don't want to do that unless I break them. Okay, beautiful. I want to give you a little tip for roses. Some roses, I think because they've got so much energy, or so, you know, they've got this beautiful head that wants to open and perform and do its thing, and sometimes that neck will like bend over, and then I think people just think, oh, they're dead, and they throw them away. That's not always the case. Sometimes they're not dead. It's just that somewhere along the stem, the water isn't getting all the way up to that precious, beautiful bloom. So what sometimes works is to take that flower, the rose, out of the vase that it's in, and get it so that it can lay down, so that the whole stem is covered in water, whether it's a really tall vase, so it's up to its neck. These aren't real long, so these are easier to do. The sink, cake pan, I mean, whatever you have that will just, so that you can completely cover the stem in water, so you can just lay, and the flower can lay in it too. It's kind of tepid water, and leave it an hour or so, a couple hours, if you know, it's not going to hurt them. And I've seen miracles happen. They sometimes come back just beautifully, so they get thrown out before their time sometimes. So, and then when you get them ready to put back in the vase, you recut the bottom of the stem and place them back in the vase, and like I said, I've seen them last then for days after that. So it's worth a try. If they don't come back, then they were going to be thrown out anyway. So it's definitely worth a try. Okay, and roses, I like to leave on as many petals as possible. If there's a damaged one, and then I take that off. And foliage as well. If the foliage is pretty, I like to keep it on and use at least as much of it as I can that's not in the water line. So always cutting at an angle. I'll turn this around and see where we'd like another rose. Right in here, it looks like. And then I'm going to give you a look to see how it's developing here. Peonies, lilies, roses, and foliage. And it's already, wow, gorgeous. I have a new experience with a filler that I can't speak to how it's going to hold up, because I just don't know. I've never used it before as a cut flower. It's a Calendiva, Calancho. Generally you see it in a plant form. It's in the succulent family. Here's a big stem. These were grown especially tall. They're usually more compact. And this is the Calendiva variety. It's the full little blooms. And there's lots of buds and whatnot, but I'm not sure if they all open or how they perform in water, because I've never used them, but we're going to give it a go and hopefully they'll do well. We're always learning. I think I'll keep a couple of pieces aside so I can do my own little test to see what happens with them. It's a fairly thick stem, so I'm going to cut a little bit of that stem back as well. Cut the little knobs off, so because I need as much space in my vase as possible. So I'm going to trim that guy back a little bit and put this down. And again, if it doesn't hold up real well, it can be popped back out and it's still going to be fine. The arrangement will be pretty without it, pretty with it, and really okay without it as well. So this piece has a long enough stem, so I'm going to spin around again to see where it might be nice. A little bit of, I like the texture, I like the color, the texture, I like everything about it. We'll just see how it holds up and what it does. So placing a few of those in just for accent. And then we're going to do some miniature carnations. Dianthus, so pretty, long lasting, beautiful variegated pink shades, just delightful. Don't be a carnation snob. They're lovely and sweet, especially the miniature ones are just so awesome. And they're going to act as another texture for us and kind of fill in the spaces. Trimming some of that foliage off. or picking it off, I guess, actually, as well. We don't want energy going into that foliage when we need the energy to go into the bloom. So we're gonna take some of that off. It's adding a nice little texture, I think, to the design. It's really almost done. It's really full, and the lilies are all going to open, so it'll just get fuller and fuller. But you know, it's not done till it's overdone at least a little bit. Okay, now it's getting a little tricky to find stem space because it's getting fairly full. So there does come a point when you have to stop because there's no more room. And you want to still be able to add water every day. I've added the preservative to the water, and always follow the directions. You do not have to change the water every day because that would be difficult, and it's just plain not necessary. The preservative, the little packet, the little flower food, has here's the packet that it comes with. It has a bactericide in it and a food, so it helps the flowers open and develop, so all the buds will open, and it keeps the bacteria down in the water. You know, so not that it won't happen eventually, but it keeps it at bay. So that's why we don't need to change the water every day. Add water every day because these guys will be heavy drinkers. So you'll notice that, you know, the next morning a lot of times you'll see, oh my goodness, there's 2 inches gone of water. So keep it full, and then several days down the road when it gets a little cloudy or a little, you know, strange looking, then change the water. You know, take the whole arrangement out, and maybe somebody can help you and hold it, and then you can pop it back in without having to, you know, try to rearrange it all. So here we go. Here we've got the little miniature carnations, the roses, little Calendiva blooms, the lilies, the peonies. Oh, it's just yummy. Yummy, beautiful. I wouldn't mind getting that, would you? Oh, and it smells wonderful. Thanks for watching. Happy Mother's Day.